You're confused by all the marketing advice that you see out there. Like, you see a ton of information about 9 ways to leverage your studio's marketing, or like 13 marketing avenues that you should consider for your business, or things like 27 bits of advice from marketing gurus. You are not alone. There's so much advice out there, and I know that it can feel really overwhelming trying to sift through it all and figure out what can I actually use, what will actually work for my business. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to break this all down because I want you to repeat after me. Are you ready? Marketing does not have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. And today I'm going to share 3 steps with you, yes, you, to help you figure out how you can market your studio like a pro. Not just a pro, a confident pro. So get ready, guys. Hang on to your seats because here we go. We are getting started. Let's play a little music. All right, everybody, welcome to today's broadcast. The topic of the day, how to market your studio like a confident pro. There's a lot of advice out there, and if you're reading blogs, listening to podcasts, it can feel a bit overwhelming when you have all this information that's thrown at you, like, okay, everybody needs to use this platform. Everybody needs to use this platform in this specific way. Like, everybody should be doing Reels. Everybody should be doing TikToks. Everybody should be sending out email lists and nurture sequences and all this stuff. That can feel like a lot. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to break this all down. We're going to push aside all the guru advice for a minute. I'm not saying some of that advice isn't fantastic, right? That advice can be really great. However, I am saying that we can make this more simple. So I want to stop and say hello to everybody who's out there. If you're joining me live or if you're watching this on the replay, please be sure to say hello in whatever chat box you're at. So hello to all the people on the Book of Face. Hey there. All the people on YouTube. Yo, Instagrammers, I see Lauren and Lynn's. Oh, nice to see you, Ellen. Thanks for being here. I would wave at you, but if I touch that little button, my phone's going to go all wonky. So be sure to say hello in the chat. I can say hi to Amy and to Cheryl Lee and Grace joining us over here. If you have a teacher friend who would benefit from joining in on this conversation, please let them know. Tag them, let them know that this is happening, invite them to join us because, the more the merrier. Thank you, Karen. I curled it right before I came on the broadcast. It's been a crazy morning. All right. Hey there, Linz. Okay, she's saying hello. Awesome. All right, so let's get to this. But before we do, I realize there might be some of you who are new. So let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business strategist, mindset, and marketing coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like yourself. And I go live here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all those topics. And so today we are going to be diving into marketing because that's one of my favorite topics. And if I'm looking, Facebook and YouTube people, if I'm looking up to the side, it's because I want to make sure that the Instagrammers feel like they're a part of this too. Okay, so let's get to it, y'all. So we love to learn out loud here. If you hear something that is valuable to you, please give us a hashtag takeaway and let us know what that value is. Let us know what is it, that idea that you got that you're like, oh, that's amazing. I'm going to put this into use. And one of the reasons that we like to learn out loud together and use this particular tool, giving us like these takeaways, is because it makes it super easy for teachers who might be joining to the conversation a little late, or maybe they're watching on the replay and they see all these tips that are flying up into the comments. So when you hear something valuable, give us your hashtag takeaway. Hey, I see Karen over on Instagram. Aren't you proud of me for doing this on Instagram, Karen? I am multitasking my butt off right now. Okay, let's do this, guys. All right. I have the Savvy Sara bot set up. She is my chat bot, and she loves to send out things via Messenger and via text. So if you want to get a hold of the goodness from today, if you are on Facebook, go ahead and drop marketing down below, and I will make sure, the Savvy Sara bot will make sure that you get the show notes from today. YouTubers, check out the chat bot or the chat box, because there is a link that I'm dropping in there right now, so you can get a hold of the show notes that way. For those of you who are on Instagram, I will try to keep track of anybody who gives me that note, because the live chat kind of disappears afterwards. But I'm going old school, and I will write your name down, so I will reach out to you. So if you want to get a hold of the show notes, go ahead and put that the word marketing down below. All right. Whew. Let's do this. Okay. So the conversation. There's a lot of marketing information out there that can feel like it's just too much to follow. And I know, as somebody who's constantly researching, marketing techniques and new ideas, when I'm reading articles and I get to an article that's like 27 tips from, marketing gurus, I'm like, oh, really? 27? Oh my gosh, can't we make this simpler? So today we're breaking this down into 3 basic tips. Hey there, Tammy's over with us on YouTube. She's saying hello. Awesome. Hey there, Carrie. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's get to it. Tip number 1, we're going to break this down into really simple steps, everybody. I see lots of hearts popping up on Instagram. That makes me happy. Thanks, guys. All right, so tip number 1, when we're breaking this down, okay? Bringing it up on the screen. You're not seeing it over on Instagram, but the YouTubers and the Facebook peoples are seeing it. So tip number 1 is to identify your business goals. Why is this tip number 1? Okay. I do a lot of thinking about marketing because I work with a lot of one-on-one clients to help them come up with marketing plans and things like that. Like I was just sitting down with my friend and colleague Jocelyn yesterday, and we were discussing how she can market this new product that she's come up with. And we came up with this massive plan, right? But here's the deal. One of the biggest goals, one of the biggest steps that people forget to do is to identify the goals that you currently have when it comes to creating a marketing plan. So if we don't identify these goals first, then our marketing kind of just develops in this willy-nilly fashion, and it's not actually focused on what we want to achieve. So in identifying your goals, I would suggest sitting down each quarter. Okay, so we're in quarter 1 right now, sitting down each quarter and thinking about, okay, what is happening in my studio? What do I want to feed? Okay, what is my goal? Perhaps let's come up with some examples, right? So actually, I want you guys, because this is my favorite part, participation, right? If you could identify what is your number 1 goal in your studio right now for the next 3 months? What's your number 1 goal for the next 3 months? Okay, so I'm going to give some examples while you all share your goals, and then I'll bring your goals up on the screen. So for example, sitting down and thinking, okay, January through March, all right, my goal is to make sure that the current clients that I have understand a new platform then that I'm using. Or it could be, I want to, just focus on client happiness and to make sure that my clients really feel seen and loved. So those are a couple of goals. Another goal might be, okay, if you have room in your studio and you are wanting to take on a few new clients, your goal could be, all right, I'd like to get 6 inquiries this quarter, and I'd like to onboard 3 clients. Okay, so it's a really specific goal. So go ahead and share your goals in the chat here so that we can chat about those. So your first step here is to identify what is your business goal. And that is going to inform you what the marketing is going to look like. Now, for those of you who may run, in addition to teaching private lessons, you might have some online courses. Perhaps you run workshops that happen at specific times of the year. Okay, that needs to be identified in your goal as well. So I think back to when I had a very large studio. My studio is small now so that I can spend more time coaching with you guys. I think back to, okay, summertime. Summertime, I had really big goals. So these were things that were going to start in quarter 3, maybe end of quarter 2. And I was launching, like massive workshops where I would have 20 students involved. I've have like 3 staff members, and like it was a big project, right? So identifying these goals ahead of time was key. So I want you to start by making a list of what are all my business goals. You can think quarterly, or it may behoove you. I'm not sure if that's the word that I want, but I used it, so we're going to go with it. It may be good to identify all the goals that you have throughout the year. So make a list of all of those goals, right? That's step number 1. Let's talk about some of the goals that teachers are sharing here. This is great. So Karen, my amazing social media butterfly friend, she's saying my number 1 goal is to create a better schedule for myself and my students. Okay, love it. Chelsea is saying I'm trying to switch to a new lesson platform and get that into a routine. She's super close to having a wait list for lessons. Congratulations, that's amazing. Karen says she wants to focus on keeping students motivated and parents happy while temporary being online. Thanks, Cheryl. I don't know. Cheryl, it just came out. We're just going to go with it. Barbara says that she wants to maintain excitement through the winter blahs. And she wants to focus on some special theme lessons. Love that idea. Amy Woods is recruiting more students, and she's hiring a new teacher. Yay for expanding. That's fantastic. Julie says her number 1 goal is to empower other music studio owners to have the success that I do in my studio using the creative resources I have available on my website. Okay, fabulous. Okay, so I love hearing about all these goals. That's your first step when it comes to figuring out a good marketing plan. By identifying those goals, you're going to get a clear idea of what your marketing should start to look like. So let me explain this just a bit, right? So we've identified, let me bring this back up on the screen. When we identify those goals, we then have an idea of our end journey. And now we can start mapping out the steps in order to get there. So if your marketing goals are mostly internal, and what I mean by that is like internal facing. So for instance, if you are focused on like increasing client happiness and things like that, you're going to start identifying, what are my steps to do this? How can I increase client happiness? And then if they're more external and you're trying to get more people to join your business, then you can start thinking about, well, how can I speak to these people? Who are these people? What are their needs? How can I start to express in my marketing that I understand their desires and their wants and that I have solutions for them? So it's not, when you're crafting this marketing plan, one of the things that I want to caution you in is this. Once you recognize those goals and you start making a list of those, and then you start breaking it down into, okay, what are the strategies that I'm going to use? What are the tactics that I'm going to use? I want you to make sure that you are creating a balanced plan. We want to have a balance of marketing and advertising, because you've heard me say this in the past. Marketing and advertising are not the same thing, right? Advertising is a form of marketing. Advertising is when we're, actively offering the sale. But marketing itself is not advertising. So make sure that when you are developing this marketing plan, that you are nurturing these people, that you are educating them, that you are empowering them, that you are entertaining them, because that is going to be a part of a balanced marketing plan. Hey there, Sadie and Vibrant Kashi. I see Shalise and Miss April's Music Studio just joined on Instagram. Say hello if you're watching. Okay, so that is item number 1, is to identify your business goals and then to start mapping out that plan with what do I need to hit marketing-wise in order to achieve those goals. That's step number 1. Okay. Moving on to step number 2. This is really important. Now, this is going to build on what we just spoke about, mapping out those marketing plans to make sure that we are speaking to the goals and needs and desires. And I know, sounds weird, but pain points. My microphone keeps like sliding down. Something's wrong here. speaking to those pain points that people are experiencing. So this is where item number 2 becomes really important. And I think that this is a part of a marketing plan where a lot of teachers feel uncomfortable. So let's chat about it. For those Instagrammers right now, you all haven't seen what I put across the screen. It says, put yourself in your client's shoes. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, a successful marketing plan will speak to your client in a way that makes them feel seen and heard and understood. So if you're not sure what to put out in your post and you're struggling with this, I want you to put on your acting hat for a moment. Do we have any actors in the house? I know we have a lot of voice teachers here, and a lot of voice teachers, have kind of traveled into the realm of acting, and a lot of musicians in general like acting. So we are going to put on our actor's hat, and we're going to think about, okay, if I were my client or my potential client, this ideal client who lives out there, what would I need to know about that teacher that I want to work with? What would I need to know or want to know about the studio culture of the place that I'm considering joining? So a really good marketing plan will be able to communicate those things. It will be able to communicate, like, what is the studio culture like? What is the teacher's personality like? What's their teaching style like? And then it will also communicate about the experiences that are happening in your studio. So people will get a clear understanding of what it's like to be a part of your business, to be your client. So it is important to sit down and really think, what does this person need? What does this person want? And hopefully, as you do those exercises, you will find that those needs and wants and desires will meet up with the services that you've created, right? Hey, Munton Voice Studio over on Instagram, thanks for joining us. We're talking about marketing today. I see that Grace has given us a great takeaway here. She says, her takeaway is that she wants to make the clients feel seen, heard, and understood. Excellent. Keep those takeaways coming, y'all. If you hear something that is valuable to you, give us a hashtag takeaway and put it into the comments. Hey, over in Instagram. Okay. So our step number 1, just to back up a bit for those who are just joining, right? Step number 1 was to identify your marketing goals. Identify what are your business goals. Step number 2 is to put yourself in your client's shoes. And in doing these exercises, I encourage you, get some scratch paper, get a whiteboard, type it out, whatever way you like to learn, right? And really think about, who is this person? Who is this client that I want to serve? Who is this person that I can help? What do they do for a living? Where do they hang out online? What are their goals musically? What is it that's driving them to want to take music lessons? What are some of the challenges that they might be facing? We need to know these things, because when we know these things, then we have the content ideas that we need in order to create effective marketing. Because effective marketing will let your clients know what it's like to be in your studio. Effective marketing will tell stories of the clients who you are working with now. It will tell stories about how you got to be where you are today as a teacher. And I know all of this stuff might sound a little like, a little scary, little like woo-woo-y, something like that. But trust me, when I'm examining, when I'm working with clients and somebody comes to me and they say, my marketing just isn't working, I can almost immediately tell them why, without even looking at their marketing. There is a disconnect between what they are posting and what people want to see. So that disconnect might mean that all of the emails and all of the posts that they're making are purely focused on sales, right? Every single one promotes your website. Every single one says, send me a DM. Single one says, call this number if you want to get lessons. When you do that, and that's the only type of marketing that you're putting out there, people will tune you out. Straight up, they will tune you out and they will stop paying attention. This is why step number 2 is crucial. And if you skip step number 2, your marketing plan will fail. I don't like to be negative. Like, you guys know that that's not my style, but I'm just going to straight up say, if the only thing that you're putting out there are things about sales and offers, your marketing plan's not going to work. So this is why step number 2 is absolutely crucial. And I understand this is also why step number 2 feels really scary, right? Anybody else out there feel like a little intimidated trying to figure out, what is it my client wants? How can I communicate this? But this step, can't skip it. And, circling back to what we said at the top of the broadcast, when we're looking at like all of these blog posts and podcasts and emails and all this stuff from, marketing gurus, and we see like a million different steps that we have to follow, it can feel overwhelming. But I bet that if you start to examine the advice that you're seeing out there, all of it's pointing back to this step. All of it is pointing back to understanding your ideal client and really knowing what they need and what they want. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now and we're going to move to step number 3. You guys ready for step number 3? Let's do it. Okay, I see. Hey there, Christine is late to the party. You are not late, Christine. You are right on time. All right, so step number 3. This is an important one. I need you to grab your Bravepants. So if you're new here and you just, you haven't seen a lot of my broadcasts before, hashtag Bravepants is a thing in Savvy Music Studio. I don't know how it started. It just did. So looking at step number 1 and number 2, identifying your business goals and making sure that you understand the needs of your clients. That can feel intimidating. It can feel a little scary to write down those big goals and put them out there, because then this little voice in your head says like, well, what if you don't achieve those goals? Don't even bother writing them down. It can feel intimidating to put on your actor's hat and to try to understand what your client needs to see. Because for those of us that, don't spend a lot of time working on character development or anything like that, we don't have acting experience, that can feel like a very foreign concept, right? But if we can hone in on step number 3 and put on our Bravepants, then step number 1 and number 2 get easier. Now let me define what Bravepants are. Bravepants are not actual pants, but maybe you do have a pair of actual Bravepants. I'd love to know, if you had a pair of actual Bravepants, what would they look like? They are these figurative pants that we put on when we are like, this thing, it makes me a little uncomfortable. It makes me feel a little nervous. It makes me feel like I'm outside of this comfort zone. That is when we need to put on our Bravepants and tell ourselves, this will work. But it will only work if I take that first step. So when it comes to marketing like a pro, using what you already have, right? Figuring out your goals, and then learning to be able to speak to your ideal clients. If we can put on our Bravepants and do those things, your marketing will improve. I pretty much guarantee it. And as a coach, I don't like to say the word guarantee, but I can pretty much guarantee that if you identify your business goals and you get clear on them, and then you learn to speak to your ideal clients in your marketing in a way that really communicates to their needs, to their desires, and it makes them feel seen and heard and understood, your marketing, you're going to start seeing a difference in the way that people are engaging with you. I see a great comment from Julie. I like this. Bravepants, another definition, those pants in the back of the closet that you're still trying to fit into. That's like all of my pants right now. I don't know about you guys, but that's literally all of my pants. Hey, Jamie Carney from YSU. Nice to see you. Good to see you over on Instagram. All right. So, y'all, I've been ranting and raving a little bit long, but let's hang on for just a couple more minutes because we're going to do a rapid recap for those of you who are just joining. Okay, here we go. Rapid recap. How to market your studio like a pro. Now, I know that there's a lot of marketing advice out there from tons of gurus, 9 steps to make your Instagram account shine, 27 bits of advice from all, the marketing gurus, blah, 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 all these things that are like long articles and there's a lot of steps in them. Today, we're going to break this down to 3 basic steps to improve your marketing so that you can show up like the professional that you already are, right? The 3 steps. Get ready for this. Step number 1 is to identify your business goals. If you start creating a marketing plan that doesn't start with your business goals, your marketing plan is going to be all willy-nilly and it's not actually going to feed your business like you want it to. So your first step is to figure out, what are my goals? Maybe sit down and plan them out quarterly. Or if you need a bigger picture and you've got some big programs that take a long time to plan, sit down and figure out all of your goals for the year. That is going to inform you what type of marketing needs to go out, and it's going to let you start to craft that marketing plan. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is to put yourself in your client's shoes. If you can really tap in to what a client desires and communicate to that to them in a way that makes them feel seen and heard and understood, your marketing is going to start shifting in a positive direction. Because here's where people get stuck, right? If your marketing plan is primarily advertising and all you're putting out there is, okay, I have space for this. Here's my program. DM me, send me a phone call, whatever. Call me on the phone, go to my website, sign up here. If that is all you're putting out there, people will 100% tune you out if that's all they're seeing from you. But if they are seeing the good stuff from you, if they are seeing marketing that really explains what your studio culture is like, what the experience is like being a client in your studio, if we see the transformations that you have helped other people with, if they can understand who you are as a person and a teacher, that is going to give them the info that they need to move forward. So that is why it is really, really important to learn to put yourself in your client's shoes and to be able to express what it's like to be a part of your studio culture. It's all about storytelling. It's all about storytelling. And tip number 3, when tip number 1 and tip number 2 make you nervous, if it feels hard to write down those business goals and to say, I want to achieve this, or if it feels confusing to be able to put on the shoes of your clients and to really understand their desire and needs, I want you to grab your Bravepants. Because marketing doesn't always feel easy. It just doesn't. But if you can trust the process and know that by keeping your eyes on your goals and really spending the time understanding your ideal clients and how you can help them, you will find success. So grab your Bravepants, put them on one leg at a time, and let's do this marketing thing, y'all. It's going to be fun. All right, so if you want to get a hold of the show notes from today, I'm going to remind you that I do have the Savvy Sara bot set up. So if you are on Facebook, if you want to drop the word marketing below, she's going to deliver you a message. And I have some cool stuff for you all today. So those on YouTube, look for the link that is inside of the chat. You can click on that and you'll get the show notes as well. If you are watching on Instagram and you want to get a hold of this, I'm going to write down your name if you drop the word marketing. So if you drop the word marketing, I will personally DM you and give you access to the show notes from today. So let's tell you what's inside of these notes real quick. What you will get is you will get a summary of everything that I've spoken about today. You will also get a link to a blog post that I think will be valuable for you. It builds on this topic and it's going to give you a little bit more in-depth information about how you can identify goals and break them down into strategies and tactics, because this is something I do with all my clients and it's really awesome. So get a hold of that. And finally, I want to let everyone know, because it's kind of exciting news, the doors for Branding Bootcamp are officially open. We get started on March 4th. So if you are feeling confused about marketing and figuring out ideal clients and, learning all those things, I can help you. We only run this twice a year. It is open for 15 teachers each time. So we get started on March 4th. And if you want information about Branding Bootcamp, go ahead and type Branding Bootcamp down below, and I will reach out to you personally to talk to you about how this group coaching experience and course can help transform your studio. So thanks all for being here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, give me some hearts. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you're on YouTube. And I just, really appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. I will be back next Wednesday at 12 p.m. to give you more good stuff. So in the meantime, stay savvy and stay you, because you are a really amazing teacher. And I can guarantee that there's no teacher in the world who's quite like you. And I think that you are pretty dang awesome. Thanks for being here, everyone. We will see you next week.